Hi, good evening, everybody. This is my daughter, Celestine. And we saw this advertised, and it said "fired up" in really big letters. And we spend most of our time arguing. One of the things we always argue about is education. So we thought we'd do a "fired up" on education. This, my son. And this is what education is all about, really. This is why we do it. Children. They are really powerful young things that run away and could quite happily run the world without us, I suspect. But we kind of constrain them quite a bit by sending them to school and telling them what they need to learn. We put them through a process which we think makes them work, makes them better people, teaches them everything they need to know to go out into the big wide world and become the people of the future that are going to run the world and contribute in great ways. That's where I went to school. Looks quite impressive, doesn't it? Terrified me. I remember being dropped off by my dad as he waved off and disappeared off into the car. And then I saw him again 3 months later as I boarded. And quite an experience for a young kid. I mean, I boarded when I was 6, and that was quite difficult. The route to success. That's what they were talking about when I went to school. It's really easy. You just follow A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and that's the way you work through. What they forgot to tell me was that there's lots of train tracks, and there's no actual right one to do. Competition. It was all about competition when I went to school. You had to be the best. Everything was about exam results, whether you got 80%, 90%, 92%, 93%. And I remember being very worried when I went to see the picture on the wall that said, yeah, that just about sums it up. I got beaten. I came second. The anticlimax was quite hard to deal with sometimes. And sometimes you went from elation 1 minute to really being down the next minute, and you hadn't done anything different. And it made you feel quite lonely and quite reflective. And sometimes you'd sit there and you'd read your books and you'd wonder, why am I doing this? Why am I studying history from 500 years ago? And I don't want to be an archaeologist. I want to be something else. I want to be something really creative. And as time goes on, it gets harder and harder as you get older and older. And I know I'm probably painting quite a depressing picture of education now, but that was how I felt. That was my experience of being educated. And when I came out of school, the last thing I wanted to do was to do any more education. And yet, talking to my teachers, it was all about getting jobs when you came out. Well, the 2 jobs I wanted when I came out was I wanted to be a priest or a wine merchant. And going to a Catholic school, that seemed to be a pretty good idea to me. But no, that wasn't what the computer said. The computer said I had to be a tree surgeon, if you can believe that. So that was an epic fail. So what do I want for my kids? I want to send them to the moon. I want them to believe that they can go wherever they want, do whatever they want, and have a bit of fun while they're doing it. And that's why Celestine's here, because she's going to tell you how to do it. Or at least, she's going to tell you what she wants.
Okay, so if I ever got a school, it should be my way. I'd like it to be more creative, like in this sandcastle competition. The winner was me, and I did a mermaid. It wasn't a sandcastle. And it was the same for 3rd. They did an Olympic swimming pool. And 4th was a submarine. I'd like to have a wider curriculum. So instead of learning the boring English, maths, learn how to do masonry maybe, or something that we don't usually learn. So like jet work. It's a random interest I have. And metal work is another one. I'd like to learn about the lost arts and stuff. We'd like to be heard. So in the school community, if we think there's something that we like and we want to change it, or we've got a suggestion, we want to either be able to change it ourselves or tell someone who can, or give us an answer why we can't. We'd like answers, basically. We'd like to find things out for ourselves. So in science, the teacher will do the experiment for us. We don't get to do it. And then we can do it afterwards. It's probably because we might accidentally blow something up. But still, we would like, to do something for ourselves and work it out. we're not all going to become mathematicians. We don't want to be a mathematician. So why can't we learn about art? Because we might want to be an artist. I want to be a film producer / director. So I don't think maths and English are really going to be my greatest interest. We would like to get more involved and like physically. So instead of being stuck behind a desk and the teacher telling us, well, the fire of London happened in 1666 and the Vesuvius went up in 79 AD, we'd like to be able to join in more, maybe have outside lessons. We'd like school to be fun. We'd like to enjoy it. And I think if we did, then, it would be great. And like not to have so much pressure on exams, because that just really gets annoying. Because it's like your whole career will depend on GCSEs.
So it's about making them part of the environment, making them part of their environment, not just the trees, but as people. It's asking them questions because they know the answers. We've got to be brave enough to ask the questions and to let them contribute. Can you imagine having something like this at school with all the students? Because I tell you one thing, and it's the one thing that really struck me as I've gone on being a parent, they're not just the only ones learning. I'm still learning. And that's the magic thing. I'm learning here with Celestine tonight. We've had a lot of fun doing this. And I learn every day, and I will go on learning every day from my kids. And that's fab. And if you're wondering what the result is, that's Celestine's picture, which she did about a month ago. I couldn't do that when I was 12. I was still doing line scribbles. But she's managed to do that, and she wanted to do that. She did that herself. She just got up and watched a video, didn't want to do that, just did some painting. Thank you very much. Well done.